Have you ever stopped to wonder if the healthy habits you've trusted for decades might no longer serve you the way they used to? For most of our lives, we've been told one simple rule: eat more vegetables, and we believed it because it made sense. Greens are good, right? They're packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber. They keep us strong, energized, and youthful. But here's something most people don't talk about. As we age, our bodies change. Quietly, gradually. Our digestion, our kidneys, our medication sensitivity, and even how we absorb nutrients. None of it works quite the same at 70 as it did at 30. And while vegetables are still essential, some of them, when eaten the wrong way or in the wrong form, can actually do more harm than good for older adults. This isn't about fear. This is about knowledge. Because when you understand how your body works today, not 20 years ago, you can make smarter, safer, and more nourishing choices. In today's episode, we're going to take a close look at 8 vegetables that may be causing unexpected problems for seniors, especially when consumed regularly or prepared incorrectly. And more importantly, we'll show you how to enjoy them safely, so you can keep your plate full of flavor, not regret. So, stay with me until the very end, because the last one, it surprises almost everyone. Let's begin. 1. Spinach, the silent stone builder. Let's start with one of the most iconic vegetables in American kitchen: spinach. It is praised in cartoons, nutrition books, health blogs, you name it. We grew up believing that spinach makes you strong, smart, and energized. And in many ways, that reputation is well-deserved. Spinach is packed with vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, iron, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants. But here's what most people, especially seniors, are not told. Spinach is also extremely high in a compound called oxalate. Oxalates are naturally found in many plants, but spinach has them in very large amounts. And for older adults, this can be a serious concern, especially for your kidneys. You see, when oxalates build up in the body, they can bind to calcium and form tiny crystals. Over time, these crystals can develop into kidney stones, painful, stubborn, and sometimes dangerous. If you have ever had a kidney stone, you know what I'm talking about. For seniors, whose kidney function may already be slowing down due to age or medication, the risk is even higher. And it is not just the kidneys we need to think about. Ironically, even though spinach contains a good amount of calcium, the oxalates actually block your body from absorbing that calcium. This can be especially risky for seniors dealing with bone loss, arthritis, or osteoporosis. There is more. Spinach is rich in vitamin K, too rich, in fact. If you are taking blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, also known as Coumadin, having large and inconsistent amounts of vitamin K can interfere with your medication and increase your risk of blood clots or bleeding. So what should you do? Does that mean seniors should stop eating spinach altogether? Not at all. The solution is simple, and it is powerful. Cook your spinach. Steaming or lightly sautéing spinach can reduce its oxalate content by more than 50%. Cooking also makes the nutrients easier to digest and gentler on the stomach. And if you pair your cooked spinach with vitamin D, such as from salmon or fortified milk, you will absorb more calcium and support your bones at the same time. Real-life stories back this up. Carol, a 72-year-old viewer from Ohio, wrote to us after switching from raw spinach salads to lightly cooked spinach in her morning eggs. She said her stomach pain stopped, her energy returned, and her doctor noticed better kidney function after just a few months. So yes, spinach is still a superfood, but only when you prepare it in a way that supports your body, not fights against It coming up next, a leafy green that's been called the king of clean eating, but may be secretly slowing down your metabolism. Stay tuned. 2. Kale, the thyroid trickster. Kale has become the symbol of modern health. It is in smoothies, salads, wraps, and even chips. Doctors, dietitians, and celebrities have all sung its praises, and for good reason. Kale is loaded with vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, fiber, and antioxidants that support the immune system, heart, and brain. But once again, there is another side to the story, especially for seniors. Kale belongs to a group of vegetables called cruciferous vegetables that includes broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. These foods contain compounds called goitrogens. Goitrogens interfere with the way your body absorbs iodine, which is essential for proper thyroid function. And here is the catch. As we age, our thyroid tends to slow down naturally. That is one reason many older adults notice changes in weight, energy, temperature, sensitivity, or mood. But when you add large amounts of raw kale to the diet, especially every day, it can suppress the thyroid even more. This means even slower metabolism, more fatigue, and more imbalance. Now let us be clear. You would have to eat a lot of raw kale over a long period of time to cause serious issues. But many seniors who are trying to eat clean are doing just that, drinking kale smoothies daily or loading up on raw kale salads without realizing the impact. And like spinach, kale is also high in oxalates, which can lead to kidney stone formation and reduce calcium absorption. It is a double whammy for anyone dealing with brittle bones or kidney concerns. So what is the solution? Once again, the answer is simple and safe. Cook your kale. Steaming, sautéing, or lightly blanching, kale neutralizes most of the goitrogens and breaks down oxalates. Cooking also makes it easier to chew and digest, an important benefit for older adults who may experience bloating or slowed digestion. You do not have to give up on kale. In fact, when it is prepared properly, it remains one of the most nutrient-dense vegetables out there. Take Sam, a 68-year-old retired teacher from Oregon. He shared that switching from raw kale smoothies to warm kale soup helped him feel less bloated, sleep better, and even shed a few pounds without changing anything else. So if kale is your go-to green, that is great. Just make sure you are enjoying it in a way that loves your thyroid back. Next, we are moving from laffy greens to something a little sweeter, but a lot harder to digest. Stick with me. Corn, a gut troublemaker in disguise. Let's talk about corn. For many of us, corn is more than food. It is tradition. It is memories of sweet corn on the cob during summer cookouts, buttered corn at family dinners, and popcorn shared with grandkids during movie nights. It is familiar, it is comforting, and it is everywhere. But here's the thing. Comfort does not always mean comfort for the body, especially as we get older. You see, corn presents a few unique challenges to the aging digestive system. First, each corn kernel has a thick fibrous outer shell made of something called cellulose. While that fiber can be good for younger folks with fast digestion, it is very hard for older adults to break down. Our digestive enzymes become less efficient with age, and that makes raw or lightly cooked corn much harder to digest. Many seniors report bloating, gas, or a heavy feeling in the stomach after eating corn, even when it is cooked. And if you ever noticed whole kernels showing up in your stool, well, that is your body waving a little white flag saying, "I could not break this down." But digestion is not the only concern. Corn is also a starchy vegetable, meaning it is high in carbohydrates. And unfortunately, those carbs are rapidly broken down into sugar by the body. That leads to sudden blood sugar spikes, especially dangerous for people managing diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance. Now some might say, but it's natural. It grows from the earth. And yes, whole corn is far better than processed corn. But for seniors, even natural starches need to be balanced carefully, especially when they show up at nearly every meal. Then there's the processed form of corn, which is where things get even trickier. Corn syrup, corn chips, cornmeal, and refined corn flour often appear in packaged foods. These products are stripped of nutrients, loaded with sodium or sugar, and can increase inflammation, especially in seniors with arthritis or heart disease. But do not worry. This is not a call to eliminate corn completely. Corn still has value, especially when eaten in whole form in small portions and prepared thoughtfully. So what can you do to enjoy corn without the discomfort? Here are a few practical tips. Always choose whole corn on the cob or frozen corn kernels, not processed snacks. Steam or boil corn instead of frying it. This keeps its nutrients intact and avoids harmful compounds that form at high heat. Eat corn in moderation. Think of it as a side, not the star of the plate. Balance it with non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens or cucumbers, and a source of protein such as eggs, beans, or grilled chicken. This helps slow digestion and keep blood sugar levels steady. Up next, a vegetable that looks tiny and fresh, but may be harboring harmful bacteria that seniors need to be extra careful with. 4. Sprouts, a bacterial gamble. Sprouts, they look so fresh, so delicate, tiny green threads bursting with life. Alfalfa, mung bean, radish, clover. You see them in salads, sandwiches, and health food bowls across the country. And on the surface, they seem perfect. They are low in calories, high in enzymes, and packed with vitamins. Many people turn to sprouts as a symbol of clean eating. But here's the part we do not always hear. Sprouts can be risky for older adults, especially when eaten raw. Why? Because sprouts grow in warm, moist conditions, the exact same environment that bacteria love. Harmful bacteria like E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria can easily grow on raw spro. Mashed potatoes can spike your blood sugar almost as fast as a can of soda. And then there is the issue of how potatoes are cooked. Fried potatoes, like French fries, potato chips, or hash browns, are not just high in unhealthy fats and salt. When potatoes are cooked at high temperatures, they can form a chemical called acrylamide, which has been linked to increased cancer risk. It is a concern that many people are not even aware of. We heard from Gerald, a 78-year-old from Florida, who used to eat fries 3 times a week. After being diagnosed with high blood pressure and early kidney issues, his doctor recommended cutting back. Gerald switched to small servings of boiled red potatoes and added more greens to his meals. Within 3 months, he said his blood pressure stabilized and his energy improved. So does that mean you have to give up potatoes completely? Absolutely not. Here are 3 smart ways to enjoy potatoes without harming your health. Choose boiling or baking instead of frying. These methods reduce harmful compounds and help preserve nutrients. Eat smaller portions. A fist-sized serving is plenty, and it gives room on your plate for vegetables with fiber and color. Combine potatoes with protein and non-starchy vegetables. Think of roasted chicken, leafy greens, and a side of boiled potatoes. That kind of meal helps slow digestion and keeps blood sugar levels more balanced. Potatoes are not the villain, but as we get older, the way we eat them matters more than ever. Next, we are diving into a vegetable that often shows up on the healthy list, but may secretly aggravate joint pain and inflammation for some older adults. Peas. Small but spiky. Peas. They are small, sweet, and so easy to love. Whether tossed into a stew, stirred into rice, or served as a classic side dish, peas have earned their place in many American kitchens. At first glance, they seem like the perfect vegetable. They are packed with fiber, vitamin C, and plant-based protein. They are affordable, convenient, and often marketed as a healthy senior-friendly food. But just like we have seen with other vegetables, the full story is more complex. For seniors, especially those with certain health concerns, peas may be worth a second look. Here is why. Peas contain a moderate amount of purines. Purines are natural compounds found in many foods. When your body breaks them down, they turn into uric acid. And for people who are prone to gout or have a history of joint inflammation, that uric acid can build up and trigger painful flare-ups, usually in the feet, knees, or fingers. Gout is not just a minor discomfort. For many older adults, it is a recurring source of intense pain and limited mobility. We recently spoke with James, a 67-year-old retired mechanic from Colorado. He loved eating peas with almost every meal. But after a third gout attack in just 1 year, his doctor advised him to cut back. James replaced peas with steamed zucchini and green beans, and his flare-ups nearly stopped. But purines are not the only concern. Peas also contain a higher amount of carbohydrates than many non-starchy vegetables. That means they can raise blood sugar levels more quickly, especially if eaten in large amounts or paired with other high-carb foods like potatoes or white rice. So what is the safe way to enjoy peas? First, treat peas more like a starch than a vegetable. Keep the portions small. About half a cup is enough for most meals. Second, combine them with high fiber and high protein foods. Think lentil soup with a sprinkle of peas or a small side of peas next to grilled salmon and leafy greens. This slows down sugar absorption and reduces stress on your joints. Third, balance them throughout the week. Eating peas occasionally is not likely to cause harm for most people, but daily, heavy portions might. Peas are not bad. They are just one of many foods that need a little extra awareness as we age. With the right balance, you can still enjoy their sweetness without the spike in pain or sugar. 7. Asparagus, a green with hidden risks. Asparagus, elegant, slender, and full of flavor. It is often seen as a high-class vegetable, served roasted, steamed, or grilled beside salmon, steak, or even eggs. It is also packed with benefits. Asparagus contains vitamins A, C, E, and K, along with folate, fiber, and antioxidants that support the immune system and overall aging health. For many, it feels like the perfect green to include in a balanced diet. But like the other vegetables we have explored today, asparagus has a few hidden concerns, especially for seniors. The first issue is purines. Just like peas, asparagus contains a moderate to high amount of purines, those natural compounds that turn into uric acid in the body. And for people with gout, or those who have ever experienced a painful flare-up, asparagus can quietly contribute to the problem. Uric acid can build up in the joints, leading to sudden inflammation, stiffness, and pain, often in the feet or knees. Even if you are not currently dealing with gout, high uric acid over time can raise your risk, especially if you are not drinking enough fluids or are taking certain medications. And speaking of fluids, here is the second issue. Asparagus is a natural diuretic. That means it increases urine production and encourages the body to release excess fluid. While this can sometimes be helpful, it also means a higher risk of dehydration, a serious concern for older adults. Mild dehydration can affect memory, mood, energy, and even balance. For seniors, especially those on water pills or managing blood pressure, losing more fluid than you replace can quietly chip away at your overall health. So how do you enjoy asparagus safely? Mind your portions. A few spears go a long way. There is no need to make it the main part of your plate. Drink plenty of water. If you are eating asparagus with dinner, make sure to hydrate throughout the day. Your kidneys and brain will thank. You consider pairing asparagus with hydrating foods like cucumbers, watermelon, or broth-based soups. This creates balance and supports digestion and circulation. We heard from Sylvia, age 70, who used to eat asparagus almost every day, thinking it would help her lose weight. But she often felt tired, dizzy, and lightheaded. After increasing her water intake and eating asparagus only twice a week, her energy came back, and so did her confidence. Asparagus is still a powerhouse vegetable, but like everything else in life after 60, how you eat it makes all the difference. Next, we turn to a unique food group, one that is neither plant nor animal. It adds deep flavor to meals, but comes with real risks if eaten the wrong way. 8. Mushrooms. Earthy and risky. Mushrooms are one of the most unique foods on our plates. They are not a vegetable, not quite a plant, and definitely not an animal. But they are rich, hearty, and full of flavor. Whether it is a handful of button mushrooms tossed into a stir-fry or a grilled portobello replacing a burger patty, mushrooms have become a popular choice for adding nutrition and depth to meals. And there is a lot to love. Mushrooms are naturally low in calories and contain important nutrients like B vitamins, selenium, potassium, and antioxidants. Some even have compounds that support the immune system and may help with inflammation. But as always, the details matter, especially for seniors. One of the biggest concerns with mushrooms is toxicity, and it does not just apply to wild mushrooms. While foraging for mushrooms in nature is obviously risky and not recommended unless you are an expert, even store-bought mushrooms can carry mild toxins or cause reactions if eaten raw. Some common types, like white button or cremini mushrooms, contain compounds called hydrazines, naturally occurring chemicals that may irritate the stomach or in large amounts over time contribute to other health risks. The good news? Cooking mushrooms neutralizes these compounds and makes them much safer and easier to digest. There is also the issue of medication interactions. Many seniors take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or blood thinning. Some mushroom supplements, especially those containing reishi, lion's mane, or chaga, may interfere with how those medications work. That means even a well-intentioned supplement could increase bleeding risk, lower blood pressure too much, or affect your liver function. That is why it is always a good idea to check with your doctor or pharmacist before adding mushroom extracts or powders to your diet. Now let us talk about digestion. Raw mushrooms are dense and fibrous. For older adults who experience slower digestion or sensitivity to rough textures, uncooked mushrooms can lead to gas, discomfort, or an upset stomach. So what is the smart way to enjoy mushrooms? Always cook your mushrooms. Whether you saute, roast, grill, or boil them, cooking helps. Break down fibers and deactivate any natural toxins. Keep your portions moderate. A small handful added to a soup, stew, or omelet is usually enough to get the flavor and nutrients without overloading your system. Be cautious with mushroom supplements. Even if they are natural, that does not always mean they are safe for your specific health conditions. One of our listeners, Doris, age 72, shared that she had been taking a mushroom immune booster she saw online. After a few weeks, she began feeling dizzy and bruised more easily. Her doctor discovered it was interacting with her blood thinner. She stopped taking the supplement and returned to enjoying mushrooms in her meals, cooked, balanced, and without the side effects. Mushrooms can still be a flavorful, healthful addition to your plate. Just make sure you are using them wisely. Up next, we are heading into the final part of this journey, a heartfelt reminder of what all this information means and how to make it work for your life. Let us wrap it all together in the conclusion, embracing wisdom in every bite. So here we are. We have walked through 8 vegetables, each one praised by the world as healthy, and yet each one carrying hidden risks that become more important as we grow older. But the message here is not to be afraid of food. The message is this: your body today is not the same as it was 20 or 30 years ago. And that is not a weakness. It is just change. Beautiful, natural change. The foods that once gave us strength might now need to be prepared differently. The ingredients we trusted in our youth may need to be adjusted as we age. That is not giving up. That is growing wise. This is not about cutting things out. It is about making smarter, softer, more thoughtful choices. It is about tuning in to how your body speaks to you through energy, through comfort, through pain, or relief. Maybe today's video reminded you of something you have felt before. A time when a certain meal just did not sit right, or when your doctor told you something that went against what you always believed. If that is you, you are not alone. There are millions of people over 60 across this country quietly adjusting, learning, and listening to their bodies just like you. And right here, on this channel, we are building a place where those stories can be shared and where wisdom is passed around like a warm bowl at the dinner table. So now, I would love to hear from you. Have you experienced changes in how your body reacts to food? Are there certain vegetables you have had to give up or learn to prepare differently? Please share in the comments below. Someone out there might need to hear your story to feel less alone. If you found this video helpful, let us know by clicking the like button and consider subscribing for more weekly insights on aging well with grace, strength, and knowledge. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care of your body. Trust your experience and never stop learning.